Hello, in this video I am testing out the cornstarch trick with putty that seems to not work with me in my climate. I am a hard presser, plus I live in Arizona and it gets hot. I work in front of like a 9-foot long window. It gets warm and gooey really easily. I tend to lean towards my drier putty, which seems to be the Randa's Crafty Corner, and I'm almost out of that. I only have like one little piece left, and I want to use some of the stuff that I already have because I am on a no-buy. My name is Marissa, and I make a variety of diamond art content. If that interests you, consider liking and subscribing. These are the tools that I'm using. I have double-sided release paper. I have cornstarch, and then I have the Pure Bliss Wax Company dark chocolate scent, and then I have a Diamond Art Club little piece right here. The one I'm going to be focusing most on is the Pure Bliss Wax Co. because it is the softest one that I have, and I love the way this one smells. This one I'm just doing just out of curiosity. It's going to be my little guinea pig. And I just want to dive in. I'm here to make a mess. I have little tiny baggies, and then I cut up 2 pieces of the release paper so that I can keep it in and that. And then I'm going to use one of these stickers, cut in half, and label them so we can keep track of which is which. And then this just to cut in half. All right, let's dive in. Let's start with the Diamond Art Club one first. Now this just didn't seem to work well with me. It seemed to kind of run everywhere, but it is a little bit drier than the, that's why I got the knife. Come on, Marissa. It seems to be a little bit more dry than the Pure Bliss Wax Co. So maybe I can get it to work for me. So they said to warm it up some first by stretching it, warming it up before mixing it. See, it doesn't seem as sticky as it was the last time I tried to use it, but it is definitely getting stickier as I warm it up. And then I'm going to do 1 dunk and make a giant mess. Get these out of the way. It's lost all its stickiness, but apparently when you mix it in, warm it up, it's supposed to come back. Oh, it's starting to come back already. I also want to do a video eventually of making my own putty, not to sell or anything, but just to, I don't know, play with and let the kids kind of use that putty, because they want to steal all of my good putty when they diamond paint, or the putty that I've paid for, and they switch like crazy, and they used a majority of the Randa's Crafty Corner. So I think I want to make it like a fun thing for them to do. Maybe get like 1 little scent pack and let them choose their scent and make their putty. And also it'd be cool just to know how, so if I end up in a pinch. It's definitely sticky again. Going to do a little bit more, pick up some of the stuff that I dropped. Maybe do 1 more kind of dunk. There. Oop. Now it almost feels more sticky than it did when I started, but probably because it's warm. And I'll probably throw it in the fridge before I test it out, because it'll be warm. Or do you know what? No, I'll clean my house first and give it a couple hours just to get back to room temperature before I start testing these out. And then I will check in every time I use it to let you know how it's going, which one I'm using, and how it's working. All right, so I did what? 2 dunks with this one, I think. I already lost count because I'm not best at keeping track of stuff. Have you guys ever tried this or done this? It's going to be a couple day long experiment. I might just leave my camera up. So I'm going to leave this one like that. It's definitely tacky again, but not like it was before. Let's see. Yeah, when it's cold, this is definitely way harder and more dense. So I'm gonna let this cool off because it's all malleable now. And if I have to add more, I will. And then I wanna show you, I can't find my rolling pin, so I'm gonna be using one of my favorite metal cups. I love metal cups. My husband's like, can we just own regular cups? Nope. It's a little thin, but I think that'll be fine. Put that in here. I'm just gonna rip it. I can't find my scissors. All right, so this one I'm going to dip more because it is more tacky and seems to be a little bit more wet. See, and it's all stuck inside here. It smells so freaking good though. I want to use it so bad. I used some of it in the winter when it was cooler, and I didn't really have anything to compare it to. So now that I've worked with Randa's, which is more dry, I can definitely tell that this just doesn't work for my climate. It gets way too melty, it's too stringy, I'm a hard presser, so it oozes out. So I really want to try to make it work for me. Do I want to use the bigger piece? I want to make it more even. There we go. So I'm going to start with one dunk on each side. And it was just really stringy, really fast, and I found myself having to change it out very often, like almost as much as I would have to change out wax. But once again, that's because I'm a hard presser. I did like it more than wax. And I did like it more than the museum putty. So I have high hopes for this. And then I could use the museum putty for the kids when we make our own with it. Designs, the Cork one, for a while, and that seems to be one of my favorites, but it's a completely different texture. I don't know what it is really. This is more of a traditional putty. I like that Swartz Designs one too. I actually kind of want to order some more from there because yes. And then my husband has this stuff called Hot Melt that he uses for making his arrows, and I kind of want to play with that and see if I can turn it into some sort of like single placer, something. I don't even know really what it is, but it only melts when you heat it up, and it seems to be kind of like a slight tack to it, so it might work good in like a single placer. And I still want to try that ghost stuff too. That goes into the tip of it white and then dries clear, and it's supposed to last forever. Naomi from House of Miscellanea says it's really good. And when I first try this out, my kids might be home, and then my daughter has a friend coming over, so I probably won't record my first go around with this. Like I said, I'm going to be paying more attention to the Pure Bliss Wax Co. Because one, it smells amazing, and two, it was softer than the DAC, and three, I just want to, you know, try out this company more and see if it works for me and if I can get this to work, because I like the scents. And then DAC, I was just curious because it was already more of a dense one and not as sticky, so I don't know. And if I have to add more, I will let you know too. I think definitely not as tacky as it was. Definitely much drier. So I'm going to, I think, leave that there. The smell is definitely not as strong as it was in this, as it was originally, but it still smells really good. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put this back. And I'm gonna dust this off and get dust everywhere. I gotta get it off here before I put my diamond paintings back. And then I'm going to put it in a ball, roll it out, and then clean for a while. And then if I don't get to diamond paint today or record my first impressions of it today, I will definitely tomorrow do some on camera, let you know, play around with it. I may even give it a couple days of going back and forth between the two and really just testing them out and just checking in throughout those couple days just to see. And then if I have to add more, I will let you know and probably do that on camera too. So this experiment will last a few days. I want to see how thick it is. Oh, I made it real thin. Oh well, if I have to fold it in half, I will. See, it feels way more sticky than it did too. I'm gonna see how that goes first though. If I have to add more, I will. God, it smells so good. Put this in here. Yeah, I will be back in a little while to test it out or let you know how it goes when I test it out. Let's label you Pure Bliss Wax Co. I'm gonna name it Pure Bliss Wax Co. Like that. And label you. All right, I'll be back. All right, it has been many, many hours and I decided to do the Pure Bliss Wax Company as the blue pen with the 5 placer. I put brand new placers onto my pen. So these have never been used before. This is a 7 and this is a 5. Out of the new ones I have, these were the closest in size that I could get. And I'm using the Diamond Art Club pens. And yeah. So let's see how this one turned out. If I can open it. I have the kids home. My daughter has a friend over, so it's a lot of fun. It's still really tacky. It smells so good though. I think I might have to add more of the powder to it because this is just really sticky and I have a feeling it might end up being too soft still, but we'll see. It's definitely drier than it was. Well, maybe. So I'm going to see how this goes and I might use it for, I don't know, today and tomorrow, and then I will see how the DAC one does. All right, yesterday I finished this section and this section, and by the end of it, I did lose a little bit of the stickiness, but for the first go around of using this, it already worked so much better for me. Prior, since I'm such a hard presser and it was a little too sticky and melty in my environment, I wouldn't have been able to get through a whole section at all, and I've gotten through 2. So today I'm gonna put in some new putty, like switch it out, and I'm gonna try to do these 2 sections to see if I get the same result, and we'll see how that goes for today. I will check in tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Friday. I will probably do 2 sections using the DAC putty to see if it makes a difference, and then maybe do the same thing for Saturday, and then go back to this one. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That is my plan so far. It may change. I just wanted to give an update on how it did with 2 full sections without having to change it out. All right, guys, I finished these two sections with the Pure Bliss Wax Company putty that I did add some cornstarch to, and I didn't have to change the putty. I was going to set it in one setting, but I ended up having to go to a school function, so I let it sit out overnight with an unfinished. I got just under halfway done, and then I let it sit out overnight, and then while the kids were at school today, I finished the section without replacing it because I wanted to see how it did, and it did great. I could probably go further with it in there, so I am impressed. I think it's just dry enough. I like putting new putty in about every couple sections because it just smells freshest when you put it in there and it's newer, obviously. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do next, since I've tried that out, I want to do this whole row with the DAC putty that I added the cornstarch to see how it does compared to this, as well as my first impressions of it when I tried to use the DAC putty before, and it just did not work for me at all. So I'm gonna see how it does for two sections, see if I need to refill it more often or less often, or if it ends up being a gooey mess like it was before. Super stringy. I did not like it. It did not work for me at all. It does feel drier than it did before. Brand new tip, and I will fill it up now, and I will let you guys know how it goes. Oh, it is so much thicker than it was too. Definitely still thicker than the Pure Bliss Wax Companies, even with when I added that. I wonder if I'll like it even more. Oh, I'm kind of excited. All right, I will be back and let you know how it goes. All right, I finished this row using the Diamond Art Club putty that I put the cornstarch in, and I think I'm getting a general idea of which I like better, but so far both are working so much better now that I added some of the cornstarch. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do one more row using each of these, and then I'm gonna give you some final thoughts. I just wanted to do an update and let you know that this worked so much better than it did before. So I think this is going to be a success on if I need to modify any putty or if the putty's not working for me, I can make it work for me. So I will go back to you after I finish these two rows with some final thoughts. Now it's time for some final conclusions. I am so excited that I did this, and I have learned so much. My final conclusion is I think adding cornstarch to your putty if it is not working for you is amazing. I cannot believe I did not do this sooner, and I wish I had. So the Pure Bliss Wax Co. was just super slippery. I'm a hard presser. It didn't last me a long time. Residue got left everywhere, but I love the scent of it, and I just wanted to be able to use it. It does work a little bit better for me in the winter, but not as good as the Randa's Corner, which is a drier putty and a little bit thicker and denser putty. And I still think I might add some cornstarch to that too, but this is still an amazing putty, and I think it would work great for softer pressers or people that are not in a hot, dry, desert Arizona climate. It's thinner, and it's more malleable, I've noticed, and just the smell of it is so good. So it was nice to get some use out of this without it being as frustrating as it was. Was it perfect? No. Did it get me by with a lot less frustration? Yes. So I can comfortably use the rest of this and know that it'll work. It didn't work as long as the DAC putty that I modified with the cornstarch. I used one, or no, was it two? Two refills. So I did the last place that we took off was I did 2 rows. It was these 2 rows right here. With this, I had to refill this 3 times to get through the row with the Pure Bliss wax clo, and then I only had to do 2 with this row. The only reason why I did 2 was because I had to let it sit overnight, and I probably could have gotten the last section done, but out of habit, I like to start with new putty every time. So I just refilled it out of habit more than intentionally thinking not to. I probably could have got away with not refilling it at all and just had my original one for the whole section. But I think that has to do with, once again, my climate and the type of putty. DAC putty is a denser putty, a little too sticky and tacky and stringy for me. That's why I added the cornstarch. But because it is thicker and denser, I think it works better because I am a hard presser, and it lasted longer for me because of that. You also got to think, as you're dotting, the more you move around and use it, the warmer it gets, the stickier, gooier it gets too. So I think because this is a softer putty, the Pure Bliss one is a softer putty, it just gets more malleable, warmer faster, and a little bit stringier and more sticky the more you use it. Both of these with ABs, if it was a fresh, brand new piece, I could use the Diamond Art Club with the ABs for a little bit. The Pure Bliss, I could not use it at all, even after I had modified it. So my conclusions are, the drier it is, the thicker it is. For my desert dry climate, works better for me. And this will also save me money because I have putties that I just want to use because I am still strictly on a no buy. And I think this could benefit everyone. If you have putty that you're struggling with and that is not working for you, but you don't want to just keep buying, add cornstarch to it. Get through what you got. It will make your life so much easier, and I wish I had started it sooner. Yeah, so this was me testing it out, the variables that I was looking at. Be careful not to overfill. I am the queen of overfilling it. That's really all I have to say is I am so glad I decided to just dive in and try this tip. If there's any other tips and tricks you want me to try, let me know down below and consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching. Bye.